Welcome to my channel, Learn and Earn, to live your life on your own terms. To my channel, Learn and Earn Academy. And today in this video, we are going to do the part 4 of the book summary of Indian Polity by M. Laxmikant. It's a written lecture series of written notes. These videos will help you to get a great insight over the topic of Indian politics and one of the best books in India, which is M. Laxmikant. So I'm sure you would like this video. If you like it, you can press the like button, subscribe to our channel and share it on social media. So let us start with part 4 of Indian Polity, book summary by M. Laxmikant. Let us start with Parliament. Under Constitution, the Parliament of India consists of 3 parts: the President, the Council of States and the House of People. Now, composition of the two houses, let's discuss, which is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Now, Rajya Sabha, the maximum strength of Rajya Sabha is fixed at 250, out of which 238 are representatives of the state and union territory, only Delhi and Pondicherry, elected indirectly, and 12 are nominated by President. Presently, strength is 245, out of which 229 represent states, 4 represents union territory, and 12 are nominated by President. Now, members of Rajya Sabha are elected by the members of Legislative Assembly of the state through proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. Now, what is the strength of Lok Sabha? Now, the maximum strength of Lok Sabha is 552. 530 represents the state, 20 represent union territories, 2 are nominated by the president, which are known as Anglo-Indians. Now, what is the present strength of Lok Sabha? So, maximum is 552, present strength is 545, 530 represent state, 13 represent union territory, and 2 are nominated by the president. Okay. Now, what is the duration of the two houses? Now, Rajya Sabha is a permanent house not subject to dissolution. 1/3 of its members retire every second year. Their seats are filled up with fresh elections that begin with the every third year. Retiring members are eligible for re-elections and re-nominations for any number of times. The Representation of People Act 1951 provide that the term of office of member of Rajya Sabha shall be 6 years. Now let's talk about Lok Sabha. Its normal term is 5 years from the date of its first meeting after general elections. The term of Lok Sabha can be extended during the period of national emergency for 1 year at a time for any length of time. However, extension cannot continue beyond 6 months after the emergency ceases to operate. Now, what are the qualifications of MP? He must be a citizen of India. He must take oath and affirmation before person authorized by Election Commission. He must not be less than 30 years of age in case of Rajya Sabha and not less than 25 years of age in case of Lok Sabha. He must be registered electorally for a parliamentary constituency. This is same in the case of both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Candidate contesting elections to Rajya Sabha from a particular state should be an elector in that particular state. This is important. Now, what are some of the disqualifications of an MP? As per the Constitution, if he holds any office of profit, if he is of unsound mind and stands so declared by a court, if he is an undischarged insolvent, and if he is not a citizen of India. As per Representation of People Act 1951, he must not have been found guilty of certain election offences or corrupt practices in the election. He must not have been convicted for any offence resulting in imprisonment of 2 or more years, must not have failed to lodge an account of his election expenses within the time, must not have any interest in the government control, contracts, works or services, must not be director or managing agent in a corporation where the government has at least 25% share. He must not have been dismissed by the government from the government services for corruption. On the grounds of defection, a member's in occurs disqualification under the defection law, which is defined in Schedule 10. This is an important question. If he voluntarily gives up the membership of the political party on whose ticket he is elected to the House, if he votes or abstains from voting in the House contrary to any direction given by his political party, if any independently elected member joins any party, if any nominated members join any political party after the expiry of 6 months, question of disqualification under 10th schedule is decided by the chairman in case of Rajya Sabha and speaker in case of Lok Sabha. Decision is subject to judicial review. Now let's see how does the seats get vacated. Now let's first understand what is double membership. A person cannot be a member of both the houses of parliament at the same time. If a person is elected to both the houses, he must intimate within 10 days in which house he desires to serve. By default, his seat of Rajya Sabha becomes vacant. A person cannot be a member of both the parliament and the state legislature at the same time. If a person so elected, his seat in parliament becomes vacant. If he does resign, his seat in the state legislature within 14 days. Now, what is disqualification? If a member of parliament becomes subject to any of the disqualification, resignation, a member may resign his seat by writing to the chairman of Rajya Sabha or speaker of Lok Sabha. Absence, a house can declare the seat of a member vacant if he is absent from all its meetings for a period of 60 days without its permission. In case of other cases, appointed as governor of a state, elected to president or vice president. Salary and allowances of MPs, Speaker of Lok Sabha, Chairman of Rajya Sabha are charged on the consolidated fund and not subject to annual vote of Parliament. Now let's talk about the Speaker of Lok Sabha, which is a very important post. Speaker is elected by Lok Sabha from among its members. The date of election of Speaker is fixed by the President. He can vacate his office in the following 3 cases. If he ceases to be a member of Lok Sabha, if he resigns by writing to the Deputy Speaker, if he is removed by a resolution passed by majority of all the members of the Lok Sabha. Such a resolution can be moved only after giving 14 days advance notice. He hold his office even after dissolution of Lok Sabha. Till now, Lok Sabha constituted because he heads the Lok Sabha Secretariat, which continues to further even after the dissolution of Lok Sabha. Now, what is the role, power and functions of Speaker of Lok Sabha? The Speaker of Lok Sabha derives his powers, duties from the sources that is Constitution, the rule of procedure of conduct of business of Lok Sabha and parliamentary conventions. Following are some of the powers and duties. He decides whether a bill is money bill or not, and his decision is final. He presides over a joint sitting of the 2 houses of the parliament. He does not vote in the first instance. He can only vote in the case of tie. Such vote is called casting vote. He adjourns the houses or suspends the meeting in absence of a quorum. Minimum quorum is 1/10 of the total strength of the house. He appoints the chairman of all parliamentary committees of the Lok Sabha and supervises their functioning. He acts as the ex officio chairman of Indian Parliamentary Group of Inter-Parliamentary Union. He decides the question of disqualification of member of Lok Sabha arising on the ground of defection as per Schedule 10. Now, following provisions ensure the independence and impartiality of the office of Speaker. Now, he is provided with the security of tenure. He can be removed only after a resolution passed by Lok Sabha by an absolute majority of total membership, that is total minus the vacant seats. The motion of the removal can be considered and discussed only when it has the support of at least 50 members. His salaries and allowances are fixed by Parliament and charged on Consolidated Fund of India. His work and conduct cannot be discussed and criticized in Lok Sabha. His powers of regulating procedure or conducting business or maintaining order in the House are not subject to jurisdiction. Now, who is the Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha? Deputy Speaker is also elected by Lok Sabha itself from among its members. The date of election is fixed by the Speaker. He should vacate the office in the same cases as of Speaker. In writing to Speaker, ceases to be a member of Lok Sabha. He performs the duties of Speaker office when it is vacant or Speaker is absent. He has one special privilege, that is, whenever he is appointed as a member of parliamentary committee, he automatically becomes its chairman. Like Speaker, he also votes only in case of tie while presiding the House. He is entitled to a salary and allowance with charge on the Consolidated Fund of India. Now, what is Speaker pro tem? As provided in the Constitution, the Speaker of the last Lok Sabha vacates his office immediately before the first meeting of new elected Lok Sabha. President appoints a member of the Lok Sabha as the Speaker pro tem. Usually, the senior most is selected for this. The President himself administers oath to the Speaker pro tem. He has all the powers of the Speaker. He presides over the first sitting of the new elected Lok Sabha. His main duty is to administer oath to new members, and he also enables the House to elect new Speaker. When new Speaker is elected by the House, his office ceases to exist. Now, let's talk about the Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha is known as the Chairman. Vice President of India is the ex officio Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Chairman of Rajya Sabha can be removed from his office only if he is removed from the office of the Vice President. The power and functions are similar to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha except two cases, that is deciding whether a bill is money bill or not and presiding joint sitting. Unlike the Speaker, he is not the member of the House, but like Speakers, he can also vote in case of tie only. His salary and allowance is also charged on Consolidated Fund of India and not subject to annual vote of Parliament. Let's talk about Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Now, he is elected by Rajya Sabha itself from among its members, vacation of office same as Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. Same three cases: ceases to be a member, resign and removed by resolution. He can also vote only in case of tie. His salary and allowances also charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. Let's talk about the Leader of the House. Under the rules of Lok Sabha, the Leader of the House means the Prime Minister. If he is a member of the Lok Sabha or a minister who is a member of Lok Sabha is nominated by the Prime Minister to function as the Leader of the House. Same is the case with Rajya Sabha. Now, who is Leader of Opposition? In each House of Parliament, there is Leader of the Opposition. The Leader of the largest opposition party, having not less than 1/10 seats of the total strength of the House, is recognized as the Leader of Opposition in the House. Case of Congress in the latest Lok Sabha. Now, what is whip? Now, unlike above both concepts, this is also not mentioned in the Constitution and it is based on the conventions of parliamentary government. Now, he is appointed by a political party to serve as an assistant floor leader. He is charged with the responsibility of ensuring that the attendance of his party members in large numbers and securing their support in favor or against a political issue. Now, sessions of Parliament. Let's talk about summoning. President from time to time summons each house to meet, but maximum gap between two sessions cannot be more than 6 months. Usually these sessions are held in a year. Budget session from February to May, monsoon session July to September, winter session from November to December. The period spanning between the prorogation and its reassembly of a house is called recess. Now, what is adjournment? Now, it suspends the work in sitting or for a specified time, which may be hour, day, or weeks. Adjournment since sine die. Now, it means terminating a sitting of the Parliament for an indefinite period. In simple words, when House adjourn without having a day for reassembly. Both adjournment and sine die is done by presiding officer of the House. What is prorogation? The presiding officer declares the House adjourned sine die when the business of a session is completed. Within the next few days, President issues a notification of prorogation of the session. Now, dissolution. Dissolution of Lok Sabha may take place in two ways. Automatic dissolution on the expiry of its tenure of 5 years when the President decides to dissolve the House. Now, the position of the lapsing of bills is as follows. Now, bill pending in Lok Sabha lapses whether originating Lok Sabha or transmitted to it by the Rajya Sabha. Bill passed by the Lok Sabha but pending in Lok Sabha lapses. Bill pending in Rajya Sabha but not passed by Lok Sabha does not lapse. Bill passed by both houses but pending in assent of the President does not lapse. Bill passed by both the houses but returned by President for reconsideration of the Houses does not lapse. Bill not passed by both the two houses due to disagreement with joint setting is notified before the dissolution of Lok Sabha does not lapse. Now, what do you mean by quorum? Now, it is the minimum number of members required to be present in the House before it can transact any business. It is 1/10 of the total number of members in each House, including the presiding officer. 55 in Lok Sabha and normally 25 in Rajya Sabha. So, these are the minimum number of members who have to be present for the business to start. Now, all matters at any sitting of the either or joint or of both the houses are decided by the majority of votes by members present and voting, excluding the presiding officer. Now, Constitution declared Hindi and English to be the language of transacting business in the Parliament. However, the presiding officer can permit a member to address the House in his mother tongue. Now, what are the rights of ministers and Attorney General? Now, they can participate or have the right to speak and take part in the proceeding of either House, any joint sitting of both the houses, and any committee of the Parliament of which he is a member. They are not entitled to vote. Minister can participate in proceedings of a House of which he is not a member. This is important. Now, devices of parliamentary proceeding. What is question hour? The first hour of every parliamentary sitting is slated for this. During this time, members ask questions and ministers usually give answers. Three types of question. Starred question, it requires oral answer, hence supplementary question can follow. Unstarred, it requires written answer. In short notice question, it is that which is asked by giving a notice of less than 10 days. It is orally answered. Now, what is 0 hours? It is an informal device available to the members of the Parliament to raise matters without any prior notice. It starts immediately after the question hour and lasts until the agenda of the day is taken up. Motions. What is closure motion? It is a motion moved by a member to cut short of the debate on the matter before the House. If motion is approved, debate is stopped and the matter is put to vote. 4 kinds of closure motions. First, simple closure. It is one when the member moves that the matter having been sufficiently discussed. Closure by compartments. Clause of bills or lengthy resolutions are grouped into parts before debate. Kangaroo closure. Only important closures are taken up for debate and voting. Glutative closure. It is one when undiscussed clauses of bill are also put to vote along with discussed one. Now, what is a privilege motion? It is moved by a member when he feels that a minister has committed a breach of privilege of the House. It proposes to censure the concerned minister. Calling attention motion. It is introduced in Parliament by a minister to call attendance of a minister to the matter of the urgent public importance and to seek an authoritative statement from him. What is adjournment motion? It is introduced in the Parliament to draw attention of the House to a definite matter of urgent public importance and needs the support of 50 members to be admitted, not permitted to Rajya Sabha. Now, what is no confidence motion? Article 75 says that the committee of ministers responsible to the Lok Sabha, it means the Lok Sabha can remove the ministry from the office by passing a no confidence motion which is supported by 50 members. Now, what do you mean by motion of thanks? Now, address of the president is discussed in both the houses in motion of thanks. At the end of the discussion, it is put to vote. The motion must be passed in both the houses, otherwise it amounts to defeat of the government. Now, what is point of order? A member can raise a point of order when the proceeding of the houses do not follow the normal rules of procedure. Half an hour discussion. It is meant for discussing a matter of sufficient public importance which has been subjected to a lot of debate and answer to which needs elucidation and matter of fact. The speaker can allot 3 days in a week for such discussion. Now, short duration discussion, also known as 2-hour discussion, as time allotted for such discussion should not exceed 2 hours. The speaker can allot 2 days in a week. Special mention. Calling attention notice or under any rule of the House can be raised under special mention in Rajya Sabha. Resolutions. Members can move resolutions to draw attention of House or government to matters of general public interest. It is classified into 3 categories. Private members resolution. It is moved by private member. It is discussed on the alternate Friday in the afternoon sitting. Government resolution, it is one that is moved by a minister. It can be taken up any day from the Monday to Thursday. Statutory resolution, it can be moved either by a private member or a minister. It is always stable in the pursuance of the provision of the Constitution. Now, what is the legislative procedure in the Parliament? The legislative procedure is identified in both the houses of the Parliament. Every bill has to be passed the same stage in each house. Bills introduced in the Parliament are of two kinds: private bill and public bill. Four categories of bills: ordinary bill, money bill, which comes under Article 110, finance bill, Article 117, class 1 and class 2, constitutional amendment bill, we have already discussed this. The money bill, financial and ordinary bill under Article 3 are essentially government bill, needs precedent prior recommendation. Government bill is introduced in the House by a minister, where private bill is introduced by any member of the House other than the minister. Now let's talk about ordinary bills. Now, all the bills other than the money, financial, constitutional amendment bills are ordinary bills. An ordinary bill can be introduced in either house of the Parliament. President prior recommendation is not necessary to introduce it except Article 3. To get an ordinary bill passed, only simple majority is required in both the houses. In each house, bill has to go through three stages called readings. Now, what is first reading? It is the introduction stage in which the bill is introduced by reading it and a copy is distributed and the discussion takes place, which is the introductory stage. The second reading, this is consideration stage in which the bill is discussed clause by clause. Amendment to the bill are proposed, all additions and deletions are made, which is called the consideration stage. The third reading, during this stage, a brief general discussion of a final draft of the bill takes place and the bill to finally placed for voting. Now, when the bill is passed in one house, it is transferred to the other house, where similar procedure is followed. If the bill is passed by both the houses, it is sent to the President for his assent. President may give his assent or may return a bill for reconsideration by the Parliament once. After reconsideration by both the houses, the bill is again sent to the President. He can't withhold his assent to the bill this time. If the bill is passed by one house and rejected by another house, or the other house takes no action for 6 months from the date of the bill introduced in that house, or otherwise, or the other house makes some amendment to the bill and send the bill back to the originating house which doesn't agree with those amendments, there is a deadlock over the bill. The President under Article 108 calls for a joint sitting of the Parliament to resolve the deadlock. In a joint sitting, only a simple majority is required to pass the bill. After the bill is sent to the President and his assent is mandatory, the President can't withhold this time. Now, a private member bill can be rejected by President, but government bill either assented or sent for reconsideration one. Except Constitutional Amendment Act, all bills passed by simple majority. Now, what is a money bill? Now, money bill is defined in Article 110 of the quote from A to G. Any bill that exclusively contains matters given in Article 110, such as imposition, remission, abolition, alteration, or regulation of any tax, regulation of borrowing of money and giving guarantee by Government of India, custody of Consolidated or Contingency Fund of India, payment made to it and withdrawal of money from it, declaring any expenditure as charged on Consolidated Fund of India, etc., is a money bill. Now, whether a bill is a money bill or not, it is certified by a speaker. His decision is final and binding. Money bill can only be originated in the Lok Sabha after prior recommendation of the President. After being passed by the Lok Sabha, the money bill is transmitted to the Rajya Sabha, which has 4 options. To pass the bill in original form, reject the bill, take no action for 14 days, send the bill back to the Lok Sabha with the recommendation. Now, in case a bill is sent to the President for his assent, in case of A to C, the bill is automatically declared to have been passed by the Rajya Sabha. In case of D, Lok Sabha has sole authority to accept or reject one or all of the recommendations. In either case, the bill shall be discussed and passed with or without any recommendations. There is no provision for joint sitting of Parliament. To pass a money bill, President has no right to withhold his assent in the money bill. Every President can send it back to the Parliament for reconsideration. Budget is the kind of money bill. So now let us discuss Financial bill. Now, what is a financial bill? Under Article 117, any bill dealing with revenue or expenditure but not certified as money bill by the Speaker is called a financial bill. Financial bills are of two types or of two classes: a bill containing any of the matters specified in Article 110 but not exclusively dealing with those matters is called financial bill of first claim. Examples: a bill containing taxation clause but not exclusively dealing with taxation. Second, an ordinary bill containing provision involving expenditure from Consolidated Fund of India is called as financial bill of the second class. It is exactly passed as an ordinary bill. The financial bill is a good as is ordinary bill except two things. Financial bill can't be introduced without the President's approval. It can be introduced only in Lok Sabha. Now, regarding its passage, it is as good as ordinary bill. In fact, there can be joint sitting in the case of deadlock. Now, what is Constitutional Amendment Bill? Article 368 empowers the Parliament to answer the Constitution. A bill for this can be introduced in either house of the Parliament, and there is no need for the President for prior recommendation. A CAB can be given government bill put members bill. No joint sitting. The Constitutional Amendment Bill must be passed by each House separately with special majority mentioned in Article 368. That is, a majority of total members of that House and two-thirds of the members present in the voting. The joint sitting of the Parliament is not possible to ban such a bill. If the bill is passed by both the Houses and goes for President assent, at the obligatory for President to give his assent. Now, some of the provision of the Constitution, such as power of the President, his election, etc., can only be amended by a special majority of Parliament as well as the support of not less than half of the total state legislature. The Parliament is empowered to amend the Constitution. However, these amendments are subjected to both to basic structure of the Constitution as said by the Supreme Court in Kishore Bharti versus State of Kerala in case in 1973. Now, what is joint sitting of Parliament? Article 108. There are two occasions on which the joint sitting of parliaments are concerned: for a special address by the President at the commencement of the first session after each general election to the Lok Sabha, and at the commencement of the first session of each year. Normally, the predict session, the President convenes joint sitting of the Parliament and inform the Parliament the causes of its summons for resolving any deadlock over a passage of a bill. There are three circumstances which lead to a deadlock between two parties of Parliament, two houses of the Parliament. Other than money bill or CAB, if the bill is passed by one house and transmitted to the other house, the bill is rejected by the other house. For 6 months, bill is not considered or passed by the house. Other house may make some amendment to the bill and send it back to the originating house, which is not accepted by the originating house. In the above mentioned situations, the President calls for joint sitting of the Parliament. This joint sitting is presided over by the Speaker and in his absence the Deputy Speaker. If he is too absent, then the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. If he too is absent, then the member of the Parliament can preside by the consent of both the houses, or consensus. Only simple majority is required to pass the bill in joint sitting. Because of numerical strength of Lok Sabha, it has upper hand in the joint sitting. President can withhold his assent to the bill. In fact, cannot hold his assent to the bill produced before him after passed by joint sitting. So I hope you like this video. If you like this video, you can press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share this video on social media. Help us to spread education in this beautiful world. Thank you.